Hello and welcome to Magic the Gathering Arena Standard Stream. My name is Aaron Gertler, also known as Little Beep on Arena, and I'm here to show you some black-green Lucky Clover Knights, my favorite deck in this standard format by far. So I wrote a Reddit post on this, and I will link that in the description. It contains a lot of information on the deck, and I'd recommend reading it because I'm going to have a relatively short deck tech here before we start playing, but I'll talk a little bit about the deck, just sort of the basic theory, and I'll note a couple of minor changes I've made since I wrote that Reddit post that I'll be testing today. So the basic idea behind this deck is you just kind of outgrind pretty much everyone else in Standard. You run a bunch of versatile cards that do a lot of different things. Your creatures are generally also spells, and or they draw you lots of cards. And you just sort of try to outlast what your opponents are doing. Use Murderous Rider and Lucky Clover to take care of lots of problematic permanents. You have a bunch of Death Touch creatures that let you kind of hang out in ground combat. You've got Endless Recursion through Order of Midnight, which, if you get Lucky Clover down, you can sort of loop Order of Midnights that recur each other. You've got Foulmire Knight, which draws cards, Edgewell Innkeeper, which draws an absurd number of cards. And we're just going to sort of try to grind people out and eventually usually kill them with Smitten Swordmasters, or just by making it so they don't have anything left on the board as we kill them with random dorks. You'll see this all soon enough, I hope. It's going to go well. Quick look at the sideboard here. So a couple of changes from the list I posted on Reddit. I decided to remove Legion's End, which as a removal spell was not that impressive against any card that was not Edgewell Innkeeper, and frankly we aren't that worried about other Edgewell Innkeeper decks, especially since we now run a couple of Massacre Girl on the sideboard, which cleans up green-white pretty well. Instead, I replaced those with Reeve's Soul, which kills a bunch of different creatures that can be sort of problematic for us, principally Mayhem Devil. It's definitely mostly here for Mayhem Devil. And it's a bit better, I think, than something like Epic Downfall, because in addition to Mayhem Devil, it kills Priest of the Forgotten Gods, which is a pretty problematic card out of the Red-Black Sacrifice decks. That's kind of a rough matchup. It's also nice and flexible against something like a Gruul or random Knights-based aggro decks. Obviously, Legion's End is better against Knights, but Reeve's Soul is a little bit more flexible in what it can kill. It's possible that I'll end up replacing it with something like Epic Downfall, which can also take out Questing Beast. Or maybe I'll just go back to Legion's End at some point, or I'll go in some completely different direction. Have this open spot for removal. Maybe this should be Assassin's Trophy. You know what? The more I think about that, the more I think I actually do want Assassin's Trophy in the spot, because Assassin's Trophy can take out Embercleave and maybe Wilderness Reclamation. Giving Reclamation decks more mana isn't really what I would do. Giving Fire Dimension decks more mana isn't really what I want to do either. I don't know. We'll leave it as Reeve's Soul for now. It could be many different things later on. Something I am going to run now is Reaper of Night is this card I'm actually kind of excited about. Early on in the format, it felt sort of gimmicky. It was cool if you got with Lucky Clover, but it felt like that combo was a little too inconsistent. The card is really bad on its own. 4-mana Mind Rot, not really what you want to be doing in a constructed format. However, ever since I added a couple of copies of Incubation to the deck, I've realized that we're actually pretty good at finding specific creatures if we really want to now. We really churn through the deck a lot. Between Innkeeper, Once Upon a Time, and Incubation, you can often find a 2-of pretty easily. And I'm hoping that Reaper of Night can help us shore up a couple of our scariest matchups, which are Jeskai Fires and Wilderness Reclamation. Both of those decks can kill pretty fast while clearing our board with early Wraths. And while we can beat Wraths pretty easily, and we can beat decks that try to kill us fast, it's pretty hard to beat both of those things happening at once. So I could even picture going up to 3 Reapers if it turns out it's really good in those matchups, but we'll start with 2 here. And yeah, let's see how this goes. So I'm going to leave Reeve's Soul in just so I don't have to spend a bunch of time thinking about it before I make the video, but I will say it's probable that some combination of like an extra Fine Finality, Assassin's Trophy, maybe a 3rd Reaper of Night. This is definitely a flex slot. You can try a bunch of different things and see what happens. But for now, we'll just leave it as is. And let's go pick up some matches. So I hit Mythic very early in the season, which means that even though it's going to look like I have a high rank in this video, it doesn't really count for much. There are not a lot of players hanging out in Mythic right now. Even so, let's try to win some games, see if we can crawl up toward number 1. It'd be cool to hit number 1 at some point this season, even if it's pretty early. At number 3 briefly, very tip of the season soon after I hit Mythic. And something I'll try to do in this video that I wasn't able to do in the Reddit post is just talk through a bunch of the micro decisions. This is a deck that is really difficult to play, I think considerably more so than something like green-white adventures or the standard green-black adventure decks that just have higher quality cards. Your cards are very flexible. They do a lot of different things. A lot of them can be cast at instant speed. There's a lot of decisions to make with cards like Incubation Once Upon a Time and Midnight, Order of Midnight. A lot of times when you are making like multiple decisions per turn, often based on like probabilities of what you could draw or could peel off the top of your deck with tutors. And it adds up to a lot of difficulty. I'm sure I don't play this deck anywhere near perfectly, but I'm going to try and demonstrate good decision making in games. So, let's see what we're up against. This hand looks... It's a little weird, these two early Lucky Clovers. You don't really love seeing two of them in your opening hand, but because we have the Smitten Swordmaster and Foulmire Knight, it means that whether we're up against control or aggro, we're going to find something good to do with these Clovers, and I'm pretty happy to keep this. Not incredible, but it's got this great combination of Temple of Malady and Once Upon a Time, which gives me a really good chance of finding an Edgewell Innkeeper here early. Let's see what we can hit. Okay, none of those are Edgewell Innkeeper, so I could either take a third land or I could take another Foulmire Knight. So how is this game likely to play out? I'm likely to play a Temple of Malady first, play a Lucky Clover on turn. I really need a third land at some point to be able to cycle this Foulmire Knight if that turns out to be what I want to do. There's a pretty good chance I'll draw a third land here. I think if we get to the point of cycling one Foulmire Knight, we'll be kind of okay for action. I'm just going to make sure we're hitting land drops. I'm just going to swamp. Especially because we have this forest in hand. Having double black is very important in this deck. So let's see if we can scry into an Innkeeper. That would be really nice. Blacklands Paragon. It's cute. I kind of just want to be getting Innkeepers and maybe Murderous Rider. Cards of a little bit higher impact. Opponent seems to be playing a deck with maybe the food deck. I wonder if it's a food deck. People still play that in Standard? I think it might be a food deck. All right. Well, right now we are bereft of any cards that actually let us do anything. Oko, so this is going to be interesting. I think my best bet is going to be trying to cycle into a Murderous Rider or something like that, if this is going to be a turn 2 Oko hand. Yeah, that Once Upon a Time was a really bad hit. The fact that we had no Edgewell Innkeepers or Murderous Riders anywhere in our top 7 or so, a little tricky. On the other hand, I don't mind seeing Trail of Crumbs. That card is totally acceptable. He's not going to kill us right away, and even with Trail of Crumbs, they probably won't be able to outgrind a double Lucky Clover draw here, since they don't seem to have Oko. So here, I'm just going to click the next button. Pretty happy just to cycle Foulmire Knight. At the end of the turn, draw a couple cards. Get it set up maybe so that my next turn after that is like Lucky Clover plus Once Upon a Time, and then maybe triple Murderous Rider somewhere down the line. It's going to be interesting to see what they play out here. They didn't have an Oko. Probably not just going to play a Naked Wicked Wolf. Maybe Vraska? Vraska kill Clover would be actually pretty bad, so I hope it's not that. That would be very annoying. It's down here. But it seems like they're pretty happy displaying the long game, and so, yeah, even against Trail of Crumbs, I think we probably play a better long game in this deck. Because it's pretty hard to avoid the scenarios where eventually Sword Mastering you for 20. Ah, and there's Edgewell Innkeeper. That's exactly what we want to see. So they almost certainly have Wicked Wolf. So there's some consideration for just trying to continue setting up with Clovers and such before we run out Innkeeper. If they play on Nissa next turn, it would be cool to have Foulmire Knight for defense, but given these two Once Upon a Times and a bunch of Murderous Riders in our deck, I'm actually kind of happy just to play this Clover now. Then probably just Once Upon a Time at the end of the opponent's turn if they play a Nissa or something like that. We have 4 Murderous Riders left in the top 40 or so cards of the deck at this point, something like that. You have 2 Once Upon a Times to find them, which means we're very likely to hit something. Or at least to hit some other cards that we can use for defense. So this is like a weird game. Really, neither of us is on the board early, but I feel pretty comfortable, unless they have something like main deck Veil of Summer, which, if they're running Trail of Crumbs, seems like it's a bit iffy. It's not a permanent you can get, and also, I'm guessing that what a Reflect slot of Veil of Summer normally in, this Trail of Crumbs is probably taking up. Feeling pretty comfortable here. I also love seeing food just get used to gain life. That is music to my ears. All right, is it Nissa time? It's a naked Wicked Wolf. That seems great. Okay. Solves. Pretty glad that's not killing an Innkeeper, and their hand must be really bad, or maybe they have a Garrick. Either way, let's go find a Murder Strider with this Once Upon a Time, just for insurance. Can? I would love Foulmire Knights or Order of Midnights. Well, okay. Ooh, second Innkeeper. Dang, we have 2 Murder Striders. If we put these to the bottom, we might not see one for a while, but I do love double Innkeeper. Man, this is tough. So if I grab Innkeeper, next turn I'm going to go Innkeeper, Innkeeper, Foulmire. And then I can either hold up Once Upon a Time or just like cast a Swordmaster, depending on what I'm drawing. Draws me 2 more cards. I'm going to try the Innkeeper here. Notably, throwing these 2 Midnight Reapers, Murderous Riders to the bottom means that I'm going to be heavily prioritizing a Fabled Passage sacrifice if I get the chance to do that. So I'm not going to play my land yet. I'm going to wait and see if I draw a Fabled Passage, because I would love to sacrifice that and shuffle those cards back into my deck. Very weird game. It's possible that I misplayed by not grabbing the Murderous Rider there, but we'll see. Okay, so now I have the option to either cast Smitten Swordmaster or Once Upon a Time. Pretty open to just drawing 2 cards while I have these Edgewell Innkeepers out. I don't think... Yeah, we don't need to like wait and try to use the Adventure or something on this card. Given these 2 Lucky Clovers in play, we're going to have plenty of chances to do that sort of thing later with Order of Midnight. Oh, there's Murderous Rider and Order of Midnight. All right, now I feel like we are really well set up. It's extremely difficult to picture what permanent or what card our opponent could play here that would worry us. We've got Sweepers covered very easily with Order of Midnight. We've got Planeswalkers covered with Murderous Rider. We're at a good high life total. But let's see what they try to do here. Maybe Casualties of War or something? Taking out Lucky Clover? I really have no idea what they're playing. Okay, the fact that they're casting 1-for-1 removal on this card that already drew us 2 extra cards is great. I don't care about this Wicked Wolf. I'm not even going to bother to block it. Going to keep drawing lots and lots of cards. Is the my graveyard beside the Innkeeper? Nope. Okay. So, priorities for this turn are first risk an attack. We don't have any haste creatures or anything like that. I don't think we'll hold back Foulmire Net at all, especially with this Blacklands Paragon. So let's just attack, see what happens. Sure. Note here the Smitten Swordmaster is gaining enough life that this Wicked Wolf is basically a non-entity attacking us. Great. Lifelink on this card is a surprising little boon sometimes. And we don't really have much else to do, so let's just cast Once Upon a Time, see if we find it cool. Don't want to use this Order of Midnight yet because, well, there's all the Midnight Reapers. Okay, well, now where those all were. Yeah, no desire to use the Order of Midnight yet because there's very little in my graveyard at this point. It'll just end up going to the graveyard itself with the Clovers. See if we can play a bit of a longer game first. It's possible that last turn blocking with the Foulmire Knight would have been a good idea. Start getting stuff in the graveyard for Order of Midnight to use. Hard to say. But either way, I suspect this Midnight Reaper is going to find its way to the graveyard next turn. Trading with a Nissa land would be a great way for that to happen. Love that our opponent's about to deploy this Nissa and give us a good target for the Murderous Rider. At this point, I'm starting to think, like, are there cards I need to be careful about? None of them really come to mind. This feels like it's probably going to be Nissa into a Wicked Wolf or something like that. They do that and then eat all of their food, specifically to kill this Midnight Reaper. They're going to hate the next turn. But they fight Edgewell Innkeeper. That's smart, leaving up a food. I appreciate that. And with this Goose and this food up, they could technically even have Veil of Summer, which would be kind of cute. So that makes me think a bit about what I want this next turn to be like. Oh, wait, our opponent is 15. They don't have mana for food. They don't have any untapped lands. So this Smitten Swordmaster actually just kills them because we have 2 Lucky Clovers. Darn it! This game was going to be like really cool and stuff. It was going to be interesting to like watch. Now we just win the game. So Sorry about that. Maybe they'll have Disfigure and we'll get to keep fighting like that. I'm just cast one. Matter very much. And Smitten Swordmaster. Deal 15. Alright, sorry, that was anticlimactic. It turns out having 2 Lucky Clovers against opponent pressure is really good. Uh-huh. I do think I should have blocked a little more aggressive with the Foulmire Knight and use the Order of Midnight a little bit, but didn't end up mattering very much. Okay. Trail of Crumbs does not seem very good. Okay, so now we get to talk a little bit about the food sideboard plan. It's a little messy, because all the cards in your deck sort of have a role to play against this deck. Clover's obviously great. You like Recursion. I normally cut 1 Swordmaster. It kind of just dies to Wicked Wolf. It's the early life gain often isn't that important against them. And you just need to find something that you can cut to bring in these Noxious Grasps, because Noxious Grasp is really good. I've thought about Massacre Girl before. I think against the blue-green decks, that are a little less Planeswalker heavy, Massacre Girl seems really good. Against this deck, which is Sultai and running things like Trail of Crumbs, it's a little bit less tempting to be like wiping the board of a bunch of creatures. It's possible that Massacre Girl is like so good that we always want her that, but pretty comfortable with the plan of try to kill the Planeswalkers and cut some low impact cards as Finality's like okay, it can kill Nissa lands and Elks and often Wicked Wolves. 6 mana is a lot. Just gonna cut 1 incubation here, and then I think on the draw, I like keeping Paragons up just because having a 3-power creature you can cast on turn 2 is a good way to like keep an early Oko in check. So I think I'll trim an Order of Midnight. This is a really close call, and I often like do a bunch of different things to test. But if the game's going to go a little bit longer, a little bit grindier, I have more chances to draw into the Order of Midnights, and I like the idea of having creatures that block, just in case they get off to an aggressive start. But it's close. I've tried a bunch of different things. It can be sort of impressionistic. This hand is great. Sort of soft Veil of Summer, but that's ameliorated by the fact that we have 2 Noxious Grasps. And not going to cast this Spellminer early. We have no real card draw, so I'm just going to see if we can cycle it at some point. Playing many Gilded Geese, so we'll see if they have Veil of Summer. This is going to be interesting, but we have enough defense that hopefully we can like put them to a point where they have to go shields down at some point. If this is a turn 3 Nissa, they're going to be extremely sad at the sequence of things that will happen after this. Effect. It's a turn 3 Nissa. Oh, wow. Okay. So we have a couple choices here. In response to their targeting the land, we could either kill the Nissa now, or we could hope that they attack right into Blacklands Paragon. I really think they're going to attack right into Blacklands Paragon, so I'm not going to bother to attack down this land. Yeah, so I could have Noxious Grass the Nissa, which would cover me from a Veil of Summer before they were able to untap the land. But the opponent did not see Blacklands Paragon in game 1. Generally, people who haven't seen Blacklands Paragon will just go ahead and attack right into it. So, still Nissa here. Still don't see any really compelling reason to play out Foulmire Knight. Our opponent not doing anything at the moment. They played Oko. They could play Oko and have a food and make Summer available, but I feel like it was that kind of game. Okay, so now we get to go. I think I want to cycle this Foulmire Knight just so I can, if I hit like a tapped green source, of which I have quite a few, well, a couple at least, and play it out and then have one available next turn. All right, there's an Overgrown Tomb, so I have the option to play the Foulmire Knight now or wait. Don't see any special reason to play it out now. They have a Paradise Druid that can attack, I guess, but they're not going to cast Nissa next turn. We couldn't block the Questing Beast with this anyway. So this is obviously the kind of situation where Massacre Girl is great, but I suspect it's not going to matter much either way. I think we're in a pretty good spot. So there's a Blacklands Paragon in the graveyard we could get back with Order of Midnight, which I might be interested in doing. Let's just Once Upon a Time first, see if we can hit her. Nothing yet. Okay. I like yeah, just like Murderous Rider. It's like good coverage for problem permanents. I'm going to go ahead and Order of Midnight back the Blacklands Paragon. I'm going to start trying to get a little bit of offense going. It'd be really nice to hit a Midnight Reaper or some point, or an Innkeeper. We have 8 of those cards in the next 42 or so, plus a few more Once Upon a Time type effects. So feeling pretty comfortable. I imagine they're trying to build up to like a Wicked Wolf or something. They are doing so laboriously at best. All right, Midnight Reaper is exactly the kind of thing we see. So now we get to definitely play Midnight Reaper this turn. If it gets killed by Wicked Wolf, that's totally fine. They're going to have to eat a lot of resources to make that happen efficiently. Gonna attack now, and then there's a question of I could try to hold up Murderous Rider. I could also Murderous Rider a Paradise Druid right now while the murdering's good, which should put our opponent to not a lot of mana actually. So that's kind of tempting. They're still tucked on 2 lands. I'm actually just gonna do that. So I have a Noxious Grasp to cover an Oko at this point. I have a good amount of power to cover an Oko as well. I guess if they go Oko, make an Elk, things get a little awkward, but I just feel like constraining their mana is the kind of thing I should be doing right now. Okay, so they go Wicked Wolf. They're going to eat their last food to kill this Midnight Reaper. We're going to draw a card off of it. We're down again to having almost no mana. So holding up Blacklands Paragon wouldn't have really done anything there, because anyway. Okay, we drew Edgewell Innkeeper, which is what we needed, and now we should be able to do this pretty well, I think. For Innkeeper, we're just going to play the cheaper adventure creatures for now, because it gives us more chances to have options later. Okay, Temple of Malady. What am I doing this turn? I think I'm interested in Noxious Grasping the Paradise Druid and just continuing to constrain their mana a lot. So given that, happy to play the Temple of Malady now because I'm not for adventure creatures. Sure, I'm in for another Noxious Grasp. Plenty of cards at this point. So just keeping my opponent's resources light seems great. And now that I have that, I'm extra confident in Paradise Druid. And I'll go ahead and use Swordmaster now. We're going to have plenty of stuff to do with the mana. I'm pretty happy just to chip while the chipping's good. And reduce the time that our opponent has to recover here. So pretty unfortunate that they only drew, I guess it was a 3-land draw because they threw one with the Nissa up until, but that sequence was really classic. One of my current teammates, Kanye Best, won a full match at the MSQ with that sequence 2 games in a row, just eat the Nissa land and then kill the Nissa, and then the opponent to Stone Rain themselves. Now we have the second Innkeeper, so we're just going to start drawing a bunch of cards and defying our opponent to do anything about it. At some point we'll start hitting Lucky Clovers and more Order of Midnights and that sort of thing. We just very frequently just draw our deck. This deck, great feeling. I'm okay trading a Falmire Knight for a food at this point if the wolf wants to block. They are pretty constrained on mana, so if they're using their food to kill my random 1/1s instead of using it for mana to play things, I am totally down with that. Limitless as the food deck's resources can sometimes seem to be, when you have just an endless stream of dorks that force them to sack food because they have Death Touch, resources turn out not to be super endless. So here I'm just going to go ahead and... Oh, the opponent's shield's down, I'm realizing now. Darn it, it's probably correct just to kill this Wicked Wolf. I don't really want to either. Let me play Falmire Knight and see what I get if that changes my decision, but I'm probably just going to end up killing the wolf. Passage, sure. Back a little bit here. I don't think that what's on the bottom is too bad. Well, it's mostly Midnight Reapers at this point. I wouldn't mind a Midnight Reaper. One thing is if they somehow pull out a sweeper, I'm losing draw cards if I kill the wolf, but I don't think there's any sweeper they can play with 4 lands next turn. Oh! Well, you get to see my embarrassment there. That wolf was indestructible. That's what I get for talking too much to chat. Sorry, chat. The invisible chat is who I'm referring to here. So I guess I lose an Innkeeper. I mean, this doesn't matter. Our opponent is still just wildly behind, but that was definitely not optimal play. That was not what peak performance looks like. Well, let's see if we can bait one of these wolves with this Paragon here. Back with everybody. Opponent probably sees this coming, but they're at 8 life, so they can't exactly not block. It's nice of them to give us the bigger wolf. Why, that was the... Maybe they're afraid of a Disfigure? Kill some of the stuff. Not in a huge rush to kill this Wicked Wolf, because our opponent's almost dead anyway. Just kind of want to draw a bunch of cards. See if I hit like a Smitten Swordmaster to end the game here. Okay, so if they sweep the board with like a Massacre, we're kind of low on resources, but this Castle Lochthwain helps a lot. Being able to cast like Life Linker is also helpful. We're at a really high life total. I'm feeling pretty comfortable just hanging out here. And with our opponent 5, Order of Midnight also just chains and grabs an Order of Midnight, so on. Opponent's choosing not to untap a forest that would let them make food with the Nissa. That does not seem like a great decision. Opponent still doesn't have Veil of Summer represented, so I think we're just going to kill them here, right? If I kill Wicked Wolf and I kill the land, then the creatures are lethal. So let's Wolf dies. So we drew pretty well there. We just kind of had endless Murderous Riders. Even need really to weren't really punished for that mistake, but even so, you can kind of see how, unless they get a really early Oko, they're kind of like non-early Oko starts just don't do much against the deck. Good Wolf, kind of medium. Nissa is pretty easy to contain. We have a bunch of Planeswalker removal, but we'll see if we get a better chance maybe to run to a food player who maybe has slightly fiercer draws or something like that. Or we could like play another deck. Wouldn't mind playing against some other deck. But it was nice to be able to show off the Paragon into Rider sequence. That is something that is actually pretty common with those like Rush to Nissa draws that are probably pretty good against like regular adventures, maybe. But not as good against us. The other thing you can do, of course, especially in game 1, is just have turn 2 Clover, turn 3 Murderous Rider, kill the land and the Nissa with 1 card. That is often very good as well. Right now, I'm something like, you don't count that last match, I think 22-9 against food decks with things that are close to the current build, although I think that hopefully the build I'm playing now is somewhere close to the best build I've played. Having Incubation is a relatively recent development, and I've been liking the card quite a bit. I guess I can talk a little bit for the benefit of the video viewers about some other things I'm thinking about for the deck as we wait for a match here. So, here's the match. Preview, blue mana for Incongruity. Is it worth it? I don't know. This hand, yep, so this is the kind of hand where I love having Incubation over like random Blacklands Paragon or something. Just being able to find an early Innkeeper gives this hand lots of juice. Absolutely going to keep it because we also have the Broken Lucky Clover and a Murderous Rider start, which is very good against a wide variety of decks. That's another Lucky Clover, which is not really what I wanted. So here I have the option to Incubation, but given that my next 2 turns are almost certainly going to be just Lucky Clover and a Murderous Rider, I'd rather just get this Fabled Passage cracked now. Pass the turn. Really hope they just go Priest into Mayhem Devil. That would be satisfying. It might also just be Grixis Fires or something, but that's not Grixis Fires. Okay, so Knights is definitely not going to have any kind of defense. Murderous Rider, which is great news. So Falmire Knight is mildly interesting because it blocks Rimrock Knight. I could go like play Incubation, play Falmire or something like that. But I want to get this Lucky Clover down now. It is pretty important to keep their board clear in case they are going to Embercleave. Because if they do have an early Embercleave, they might just like not attack or anything like that. And then we end up feeling silly because my creatures do not block well against them. Play a Regisaur, please. Hey, they played a Regisaur. All right. Guess what we're going to do in response to their discard trigger here. Admittedly, we will go to 11 in response to discard trigger, but Murderous Rider having lifelink and Smitten Swordmaster with a bunch of Clovers means we should be pretty okay. And they don't really have any kind of punish for this. So just for sure here that we have this stop set, so they can grab this card. And then we're just going to double Murderous Rider now. To hesitate. Because the only haste creatures I think they would play are creatures that we are perfectly comfortable killing the Rimrock Knight instead of like Fervent Champion. I don't care about killing. So land drops would be great, just so I can kind of get these Clovers out of my hand and stuff, but it's going to be pretty hard for them to reassemble easily. Embercleave is still dangerous. Definitely one of the better cards against our deck. Please don't have a second Fervent Champion. Oh, Steelclaw Lance. I forgot about that card. That's actually pretty good. It's a lot of damage. All right. Still pretty okay with the Murderous Rider decision, but maybe I was a bit hasty there. Fortunately, they're down to one card and I have a Murderous Rider, so this seems okay. I want to do this. Fervent Champion can take me to 5. If they draw land, they could Embercleave it and kill me. That seems kind of unlikely. It'd be a nice time to have blue mana for Incongruity, but it would be a bad time to have had to shock another duel. It evens out, I think. I could play Foulmire Knight and then Smitten Swordmaster go to 10, which is not really that outstanding. I think I'm just going to play Murderous Rider and assume they're not going to Embercleave me next turn. And just try to build up a board of knights so that Smitten Swordmaster is great. Like next turn, if I draw a land, I can go land, Clover, Foulmire, Swordmaster. Be in excellent shape. 5 is not a high life total, but it's reasonably comfortable. Once upon a time. Boy, these draws have been kind of bad, so it's okay. So I could once upon a time and try to hit a land drop, which is actually what I'm going to do here for sure. It's just pretty important that I be able to develop my mana. Wow, all these lands are really painful, huh? Awkward. If I go to 7 off of this, they could have a Black Lance Paragon, which Foulmire Knight would cover fine. Wow, really awkward. I could play Overgrown Tomb, and then I could Foulmire and Swordmaster, which puts me 3 and then 7? Really not that... seem that different? I think I'm supposed to take Temple of Malady. The fact this helps me hit another land drop later seems good. I'm gonna play it. Try. Possible I should have attacked with Murderous Rider first to see if they were going to have a Black Lance Paragon, but you're not necessarily going to get 100% type play as I narrate all my stuff. Boy, this sounds like a Black Lance Paragon to me. 2, go to 7, play Foulmire Knight, and pray we live through the turn. If we live through the turn, things are pretty good after that. Maybe let's play another Regisaur and we can Murderous Rider them again. Okay, it was Paragon. Please no Embercleave. Please no Embercleave. I've been a good person. I don't deserve to be Embercleaved. Oh! Well, I'm dead. Okay. Dang. See, this Black-Red Knights type matchup is normally very good, but draw just turned out a little awkward there. We have a few too many Lucky Clovers. Fortunately, our sideboard strategy is pretty clear. We just get to... I don't think Veil of Summer is important. I don't think they're going to be running much of any black removal, but Massacre Girl is pretty good. Pretty good. Fine Finality seems kind of slow. Lucky Clover, despite its heroics in that game, if we're focusing on more of a just remove their stuff the first time strategy, it's not as outstanding. And drawing 2 of them, as you can see there, can be really awkward. I'm happy taking out 1 copy. I'm also going to take out 1 Order of Midnight, because as a creature that doesn't block, it's pretty awkward. And then if I have to choose my last cut, it could be Incubation. I like the fact that I can tutor for Massacre Girl pretty easily. I definitely want all my Death Touchers against Regisaur. I definitely want all the Riders. It could be Midnight Reaper. Midnight Reaper is not a great blocker, and I don't know how much trading is necessarily going to go on in these games. There's also a perspective by which I'm thinking, what's the best way to make sure Embercleave doesn't? I could almost think about playing Duress, which doesn't seem that important, honestly. I I'm down to cut a Reaper and try to keep the deck a bit cheaper. It's a tough situation again. Just gonna hope we draw lands here. Embercleave is a tough card against us, but it's usually scarier out of decks like Gruul that can play Questing Beasts and stuff with. This hand is fantastic. This is like the almost the perfect Black-Green Adventures hand. We got Innkeeper and Falmer for turn 2, probably. You got Once Upon a Time. We have an early Swordmaster plus a Clover, which means we can either cast as early as a Lifelinker or wait to drain with Clover, depending on what Once Upon a Time finds for us. Things are looking great. What do I want right now? Sure, I'll take another Innkeeper. That sounds amazing. They're not going to have Master Removal for these. At best, they're going to be Bone Crusher Gianting them. That's not going to be super sustainable, so let's just draw all the cards. All right, they hovered over the Innkeeper, so for a second I thought we were going to get shocked. I would not have enjoyed. Didn't happen. Murderous Rider is basically perfect also. Means that in a couple turns we're going to ideally double Clover them. Yeah, our lands and stuff. Get a lot of draws to find lands. Not yet, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Got draws next turn. And even single Murderous Rider is pretty good in this kind of early scenario where we're starting to get a lot of board development early. Boy, it'd be really good if they just Bone Crusher Gianted one of these. That'd be a great way for them to spend a whole turn. Deal. That's fine. Card already its job, and now we drew Castle Lochthwain, which is so good. So a couple options here. We could play Lucky Clover. It doesn't seem like it's necessary just yet. I think we're going to have at least 2 turns to set that up. So right now I'm just going to focus on playing this out. So you're going to have Bone Crusher Giant as a blocker, which is interesting. Could play Midnight Reaper, like trades aggressively with Bone Crusher Giant and also can block Fervent Champion. But I kind of just want to be drawing cards here. Like I do want to hit my next land drop. Okay. And even with Clover available, I think I'm pretty happy just trying to get a little bit more aggressive here. Lots of decisions, right? Like it could be that the right play there is to play Lucky Clover and Curry Favor once. It could be the right play there is Midnight Reaper. It could even be maybe I just Murderous Rider the Fervent Champion, keep the board clear. Lots of options, but in general, heuristics are if you're not under a ton of pressure, you just want to be drawing cards and hitting land drops because you're able to make more and more decisions in future turns as long as you're hitting land drops. I have the Ebon Legion. Okay. Not a Bone Crusher Giant. Wow, I like that neither of those cards block Smitten Swordmaster. Yeah, let's get aggressive here. Opponent is at a rapidly dwindling life total, so we should be thinking about Embercleave, but my version of thinking about Embercleave is whoa, okay. Looks like this may not actually be Embercleave. We have another land available, so if we were worried about Embercleave, we could, in theory, try to like Murderous Rider or something that's put on top of, but pretty down at this point just to go cast Smitten Swordmaster, play Lucky Clover. If this Smitten Swordmaster dies in combat, I can double order Midnight back both Smitten Swordmasters. And then just our opponent's on the verge of getting drained out of the game. We also have double Murderous Rider on each of the next 2 turns with a pretty healthy life total. It feels like this position's very good. I have the option to double block Stormfist Crusader here. I don't really want to take it. Embercleave, cool. Sure, the fact that they are spending these 2 mana to not develop their board and just kill my Innkeeper is just excellent. Just love it. And now I think we might just have the win. Very close to it. So we're going to go ahead and order Midnight, double it up, get back Swordmaster plus Innkeeper. One thing to be wary of if you're trying to do Smitten Swordmaster math, of course, is our opponent has the floating mana. They might have a Bone Crusher Giant or something that could kill. So it's possible that attacking first is correct there. It's quite likely that attacking first is correct there. Again, being a little lazy because I think here. Blacklance Paragon, sure. So probably blocking the Swordmaster here. Which gains them a little bit of life. But now they made this decision, I get to just shut off the Embercleave path to victory. And so no more cards off this. This is also dead. And yeah, double Edgewell and Keeper starts are kind of broken. Like you get to play 4 Okos in your deck, you can have 2 Okos in play at once, and the Okos cost 1 mana. That's the metaphor I like to use. Opponent has cast a 7/6 without trample. It's good. So 5 mana available. I could go Innkeeper into Murderous Rider into Swordmaster, which gains 4. Try to once upon a time hit land drops, but because I have this Innkeeper, I'm just going to try to hit land drops by drawing cards, I think. Just going to play the Lifelinker here. Basically, our opponent could draw exactly Embercleave, but this is going to give us enough life to be insulated from that, so it's fine. Not going to attack with Falmar Knight just because it's a pretty good deterrent here. Not really any need. Draw exactly Embercleave. We can set up a block with enough material that we can kill it with Murderous Rider. It didn't draw Embercleave. Cool. There's another world where I just Murderous Rider the Regisaur at the beginning of Upkeep or something. Careful. Lots of options. Pretty well covered there. Okay, if we're on the draw, do things change at all? They did play Noxious Grasp, but that does not make me want Veil of Summer at all. Noxious Grasp is not good against us. If we have an Innkeeper in play and they're spending 2 mana to kill it, probably means that exchange was good for us, and having Veil of Summer like stuck in our hand. Horrible nightmare against their Go draws. I do miss having the versions of this deck that had like 3 to 4 Blacklands Paragon sometimes in matches like this, but seems fine. I don't think Duress is very good. Really only hits Embercleave early, and it's possible their hand is just full of creatures and they kill us with creatures before we do anything like that. Midnight Reaper being able to block where Order of Midnight can't. Interesting. But I also want to keep my curve pretty low. I think I'm comfortable with this. We'll see. Possible that Master Girl is a little too slow, but just draw a couple of removal spells and take out the early stuff and win that way. Love to see if Reeve Soul pops up. This should in theory be good, although not as good as Legion's End. Alright, hand's not outstanding. If this were like a swamp, this hand would be pretty outstanding, but still happy enough to keep it. Once upon a time hits Innkeeper, it's great. If it just hits a swamp, so I can Murderous Rider, doubled on turn 3, it's still good. Having no turn 1 play is just incredible news. There's a swamp, which means we can safely dig up pretty much any creature with once upon a time. Great. Alright, more Murderous Riders. I am game. And I cast Falmire Knight here. I think we have plenty of value already. And just nice to have an early blocker in case their play this turn is like a Rimrock Knight or a Blacklands Paragon. Can't use Bone Crusher Giant. It seems like they paused, thinking they could use Bone Crusher Giant because some red mana over here, but that's not how that works. They could still have Blacklands Paragon. I just see no reason to attack at all. We have every creature they could ever play covered for the rest of time. It's like a weird draw, but I'll take it. Riding Regisaur comes down. I can just kill that. Don't need to kill it yet, of course. We're going to let it take at least part of their hand first. No attacks. In fact, they're not going to attack with it this turn anyway, so I feel no need to kill it like on their upkeep. There's nothing scary they can really do with it that I'm aware of. Just going to hang out. Wait for them to like play another spell or something like that. This attack is interesting. Are they killing Falmire Knight with Bone Crusher Giant? No blockers? Alright, that's... Wow. I guess... Alright, so they knew I had one Murderous Rider. They knew the Regisaur was going to die. And then I guess... I don't know. They probably had a feeling things were not going to go well. Oh, I bet they saw the play that I was probably going to make there, which would have been to Murderous Rider my own Falmire Knight, taking out their Bone Crusher Giant, and then Murderous Riding their Regisaur. Cast a Murderous Rider the next turn. Yeah, that was not going to be good for them. Hopefully I would have seen it. Still have a bit of chat brain going on, but let's play another match. I like that we got a kind of a food matchup in, kind of an aggro matchup in. Feels like both our opponents were playing sort of non-standard decks. It'd be cool to run into something like a Jeskai Fires or the kind of stock food list. That. But I hope that these matches are at least showing the power of having just like a bunch of Once Upon a Time in your adventure deck. Really good. Just a bunch of tutoring available, a bunch of synergistic cards. I've tried to play the Black-Green Adventure list that have like Questing Beasts and Rankles and Veroskas and Lilianas and all that, but this feels like I'm trying to out mid-range Oko, which is not a feeling I like. Yeah, they have great cards. There's a lot of play to them. You can make a lot of choices in your games and in how you deck and how you sideboard. I like fun decks, and if the card Lucky Clover didn't exist, I would probably be playing something. I just really like the synergy-driven approach where all the cards are cheap, really hard to like have awkward draws. I mean, you saw one there with a bunch of lucky, but or at least it's pretty hard to get mana screwed, and your deck kind of is very consistent. Game. Slow night on the cues, but here we go. Let's just run out one more match here, see if we can win one. Kind of hoping I run into show. I ran into show twice yesterday, just mulliganed atrociously, and got ground out by his Fires deck. This hand is pretty bad, I think. Order of Midnight is not really a great card if you're not bringing things back with it. A single Murderous Rider doesn't really salvage this, and we mulligan pretty well. All right, this hand is similar, but into it, I think. You have the option to either throw away a Swamp or an Order of Midnight. And I am going to toss... I could toss Lucky Clover as well. I think I'm comfortable having be Order of Midnight here. It's possible that I get flooded out and die and regret this, but I'd really like to be able to just confidently scry land to the bottom with this template. My first priority here. Like being able to comfortably cast a 3-drop if I see one on top, like that's great. Valmar Knight in. That's actually really good. So because we're on the play, we're probably gonna have time to just like go Lucky Clover and then cycle Valmar Knight, start getting cards back in our hand. If everyone's doing something really aggressive, we can just Black Lance Paragon on turn 2 and then Order Midnight Black Lance Paragon back and get a little bit of time bot. I have a feeling there's a Once Upon a Time coming. Our opponent was very patient. Held their turn correctly to cast. Cool stuff. They play a Gilded Goose. I'll have to think a little bit about whether I want to go Clover or Paragon, although I think it's probably still Clover. I will say this, as obnoxious as the food deck is, these sleeves are really pretty. Okay, first turn Fabled Passage is incredible news. That definitely gives me a Lucky Clover and get set up a little bit. Possible with this, they're not even running the food deck. I don't know how typical. I guess Fabled Passage is standard in Sultai. I did write that Reddit post yesterday, so maybe it's going to end up being a mirror match. That would be a fun thing to show. Nope, not a mirror matchup. Blue-green Flash, maybe? Flash is very good. I would not mind facing that one. Okay, one's doing basically nothing. I love to see it. I'm just gonna hit a land drop and wait. They play an Oko. I'll like make a decision before they decide. Before I decide whether I want to Murderous Rare the Oko or use Valmar Knight. It's Oko. All right, so let's see what Oko wants to do. I think if Oko makes a food, I'm just going to kill him now. Okay, yeah, we're just going to do this. The cool thing here is that Murderous Rider goes to the graveyard. So, like a little awkward in some cases not to be able to cast the card, but this means I can get it back with Order of Midnight. Excellent news. Incubation Incongruity is like slightly interesting, but I just really want to draw 2 cards here and hit a land drop if I can. Better yet if it's a green land. Incubation, but black mana is also totally fine. Cast Valmar Knight. And if I'm really lucky, they'll just like wolf down Valmar next turn, and then I can Order Midnight back both Midnight or Murderous Rider and Valmar Knight. That'd be cool. But if they don't do that, Valmar Knight covers things like Oko making a 3/3 or Nissa pretty well for future turns, so I'm happy to have it sitting here. And lots of great draws from this position. Pretty happy incubation into like a Midnight Reaper here, or even like just a slow Innkeeper that we can play later. Oko, sure, whatever. Yep. This gives me an interesting option. I could Order of Midnight back the Murderous Rider and kill the Oko and the food. Assuming they don't have main deck Veil of Summer, which most people don't have that. That would let me kill both of these things, take out the other Oko, keep Valmarionette back in case of Nissa. We're kind of calm from there. The problem is that it throws my Order of Midnight in the graveyard, which is a little sad. Cool if I could find a way to get a creature in the graveyard first, but I think Oko sitting there is like a little dangerous. They might just elk my Clover next turn, and then I'm gonna be sad. The other option is I could Incubation to try to find another Rider. But that's kind of a crapshoot. I'm just going to do this. I'm going to assume they don't have main deck Veil of Summer. Yep, let's go back. They're hovering. So maybe they're going to get me here. If they get me, then like, well done, you got me. But it does not look like that's what's happening. Nope. Cool. You're dead, you're dead. I'm not going to bother to attack here. This is a real card. I'm just going to... No attacks. And this is dangerous, but now with Incubation available, I have time to draw into another Murderous Rider or something like that. Vraska's fine. She can kill Clover, which is slightly irritating, but then her. It's an interesting question. Do you kill the thing that's the creature? Do you kill Clover? I think Clover's just right. But no blame for that. Kind of a hand that's like pretty well suited to doing Vraska things. Interesting. So I could play the Clover before cycling the Foulmire Knight. And then draw 3 cards. I'm at 9, which is not like the world's best life total. I think I'm interested in cycling first and seeing where to go from here. So great draws would be Innkeeper, another Murderous Rider would be excellent. Then Swordmaster is actually pretty great because it's going to repair my whole like low life total situation. So the option presents itself to Once Upon a Time for a land drop and cast Foulmire Knight, which is pretty tempting. I just have a lot of stuff to do next. I'll just play the Lucky Clover out now. Oh, Once Upon a Time. I think I would like to just hit a land drop this turn. Cool. Not even hitting any Edgewall Innkeepers here. So I could take the Overgrown Tomb and take 2 extra. I could also take Smitten Swordmaster, actually. Huh. Now that I think about it, this actually seems much better. Clover. Oh, this is tough, actually. You know what? I'm gonna just take this land and be safe. Little derpy, but like to not die by accident. I don't know. Many options there, of course. I could have taken Overgrown Tomb, so I could like Keeper. We'll see. I like that I can Incubation a Murderous Rider. I like there are 3 Murderous Riders still in like the 40 cards here somewhere, so I have a reasonable chance of getting one if it comes to that. But this feels even. I don't really know what's going to happen in this game. Vraska does not have a lot of good sack fodder. Gotten through 2 Okos at this point. That's definitely a strange position. Like having Vraska just like freely never the best feeling. I like that I can chip her with Foulmire Knight so she can't just Clover. If that, and it's down, sure. So they've got lots of forests. Crisis would be pretty ugly. It appears that that's what's happening. Okay, so we find another swamp. So I think I want Incubation first actually here because this turn just looks so different if I have a Murderous Rider sitting on top of my library. Let's see what I find here. Okay, just going to take that one comfortably, I think. Go for Swamp. Clover. Triple Murderous Rider. And opponent scoops it up. Cool. So Triple Murderous Rider doesn't necessarily end the game there. If they have like a Grace or something, I'm under some pressure. But I'm safely, I don't have to Swordmaster there because Foulmire and me on 4 life means that I don't have to worry about dying. They can't really kill me with any of the cards in their deck, and then I get to play like 2 Knights and then Swordmaster and gain like 9 life the next turn. That so pretty secure. All right, so typical looking Sultai food deck. Veil of Summer, not really a thing. The cards they play that this is good against are like Vraska and Noxious Grasp. Neither of those cards is especially worrisome for us, I would say. Vraska Healing Clover can be mildly annoying sometimes, but just holding up this card when we're spending so much mana hungrily. Great. Do kind of the usual thing here. Cut a Smitten Swordmaster out of Noxious Grasp. Cut a Fine Finality out of the Noxious Grasp. We're on the draw, so I'm going to keep Paragons around, but I will cut a... I think it's just it's either an Order of Midnight or an Incubation here. Let's call it Order of Midnight for the grasp. Right, like this. Yeah, if we're gonna bring the Massacre Girls, I would probably go ahead and cut like maybe like a second Swordmaster in Incubation or something like that. This sideboard is like, it's just like a really weird match to sideboard into. I'm not even entirely clear what they bring in against us. Hard to say, hard to say. And it looks really good. So again, the double forest looking a little awkward. I did have to add a 5th forest to that when I run the incubations, which made the mana slightly iffier. But still have pretty good outs to have double Mortis Rider. We have turned Oko covered with this Noxious Grasp. And I'm pretty unlikely to cast the Spellmire Knight on turn 1. Often, because they play Veil of Summer, they'll like play a turn behind and try to be extra protective of their cards and stuff. That's nice because it gives you time to do things like cycle Foulmire Knight. Ooh. Change of Lands, just gonna play, I mean, not Change of Lands, I was never gonna play Foulmire this turn, but now I get to play Incubation. Cool. And see if I hit an Innkeeper. Yeah, that one, thanks. Cool. So next turn's play is very likely just gonna be Keeper into Foulmire. Is in my opponent's deck. Interesting. Alright, so they have a Veil of Summer. That's what they're pausing to do. It would draw a card for them, because this card is blue, which is... does not seem right to be cycling that early, though. Artist Druid? Wow, their hand is real slow. Okay. And because they didn't play anything, they can't even Wicked Wolf the Edgewall Keeper. I'm totally just gonna... Great. Second Incubation doesn't fit super well into the hand. This is definitely a lot worse than Once Swamp from here. We want here, but that's alright. Eventually we'll draw our Swamp. Next turn I can just go Incubation Clover if nothing better presents itself. We have Oko covered, which is great. Okay, sure. What does that one do? Food token has been called. Now, alright, so drawing the Swamp gives me the option to Murderous Rite of the Oko. I could also just Incubation plus Grasp this turn. They're probably going to play a Wicked Wolf and kill my likely thing that's going to happen. So I'm down to Incubation for another Innkeeper or a Order of Midnight or something here. I think Murderous Rider is a little bit more mana efficient. I also like that Murderous Rider can come on Lucky Clover later. So let's just do this. Close decision. I think either one of these could right? In theory, I should have played Incubation first there, just in case it maybe want to grab Lucky Clover. Ew. Alright, well the good news is we got through a lot of stuff that's like not Edgewell Keeper, I guess. Paragon's not awful. It's just wanted it that particular. Now they could Wicked Wolf, and I'm without a source of card advantage for the moment. But still got Lucky Clover, still got Blacklands Paragon. I'm feeling okay. Another Swamp, so yeah, a little awkward there. Yes. But I have faith we'll eventually be able to recover here. Let's go over. And past the turn, it would be nice if Auto Tapper could like leave me without Swamp in a forest. They don't know if I have one Spun a time. No reason to attack. Just wait. Maybe they'll play Anissa and then attack. For some reason, they're not going to do that, of course. It is pretty annoying that Veil of Summer. Very much. That before us, Veil's open, be able to play a Paradise Druid and get really greedy. That would be delightful. Doesn't seem likely though. This is the tricky part where we might lose this one just because we're not going to be able to get them to summer flavored things. This attack's interesting. Okay, so they're willing to eat food and make the wolf a bit weaker. So why don't we do that? Definitely block the wolf here. I don't mind getting this thing in the graveyard in case I draw like Order of Midnight. Pretty happy to have the wolf not be indestructible in the future. And this Foul Marionette they were never going to attack into it with Force anyway. Wait until the end of the turn. So we could play Paragon and gain 1 life by giving the Foul Marionette lifelink. The other option is waiting and see if they're going to play Paradise Druid. I don't think they're going to get some lifelink going here. Sometimes every point matters. So best draw in my deck by far at this point is Order of Midnight. And we've gone through quite a lot of cards without seeing one. So chance we'll just find one and be able to completely reconstruct the board from scratch. Hey, buddy! How's it going? All right, so now we attack with Black Link's Paragon. We hit this up. Because we're just going to play a Foul Marionette at the end this turn. Happy just this one attacking. Chip down Nissa's loyalty a little bit. If they have a Krasis, things are a little awkward, but possible they'll get really greedy with the Krasis and not end up leaving mana for Veil of Summer. That would be delicious if it happened. See, person can dream. Either way, I feel pretty comfortable here. We have a reasonable blocker for Nissaland. Got our engine going. And by the way, a trick that's really important for when you're doing this Order of Midnight doubling up stuff. Kind of hard to track what you've grabbed already, so you really want to go either right to left or left. You really want to like pick a direction. The Order of Midnight is of course more mana efficient this turn, but it also can't block a land. Is the difference, might be the difference between taking 10 damage and taking that. Ooh. Second level Clover is a little spicy. We really need them to tap out of a Veil of Summer. Great if they got impatient and has to draw a card. They probably won't do that. Be really good if they just, okay, Wicked Wolf, sure. Keeper has died again. So be it. Not a crisis. Yeah, things are looking a little rough now. This is not a position I would say I feel favored in. We're able to get enough momentum to be able to hold a Veil of Summer there. Plausible I made a wrong decision somewhere earlier on. Stuff. Wow, if they just play a Crisis now, that would be incredible news. Please play a Crisis. Please play a Crisis. Let's do it. What do you want to? Yes! All right, that is incredible news. Oh, did they make a land drop this turn? Did not make a land drop this turn. Okay, well, this game just got more interesting. I think we're still behind. All right, maybe with Order of Midnight we're not behind anymore. Wow. All right. Definitely like where this is going. So we get to do this. We get to Murderous Rider in triplicate. Kill Wicked Wolf. Kill Wicked Wolf, kill Hydroid Krasis, and then attack and miss at death. You drop to a pretty precarious life total after all this happens. But you gotta take some risks here. Have this life linker as backup and sort of thing, you know. Nissa dies, hopefully they don't have a second Nissa. Second Nissa would be a little sad. But you've stabilized slightly. Let's see. Lands we can handle with these cards. Let's see what the scary follow-up is. Paradise Druid doesn't matter very much. Gilded a Goose doesn't matter very much. I mean, the Gilded Gooses make a lot of food, but the fact that they don't have like a bigger threat that turn is amazing news for me. Get to do this. Try and use as much green mana as I can early because... Oh, right. Interesting. I forgot that this Order of Midnight's going to go to the graveyard, but I think it's just obviously the right play to pick up in anyway. They're not going to block if I attack, so whatever. Load this in the graveyard, and that means we can just get it back if we find another order later. Also, with triple Lucky Clover, we're never going to... Let's just draw this Innkeeper and see if we can start hitting some sword math. That would be fun. I would love that. Bring you back. I'm going to go Innkeeper, and there's a choice whether to play Murderous Rider or Order of Midnight here. I'm going to go with order here. It's a little... There's like enough cards I could draw here that would be good to see that I'm into doing order here. So I'm going to leave up green in case I draw Once Upon a Time. Murderous Rider would be good if I had like Temple of Melody on top. Alright, so made this less mana efficient play, probably doesn't matter too much. So the situation, I would say we're still probably behind. I don't know what's in their hand. Big Hydra Crisis could be a pretty big threat to our life total, but with 2 Lucky Clovers in play, the draws that we have in our deck are just so strong. Okay, Eric's interesting. Where they even played this card usually. I guess the sideboard thing? I don't know. I don't really keep track of what's in decks, which is probably bad to do. So yeah, now we need to, there are some draws that are like really good for us here. But we do need to find something fast. That does not qualify as something. Rip off this Murderous Rider. Another Murderous Rider. I guess they have Veil of Summer up, so we're probably dead. Midnight Reaper is not that great, but it lets me attack the Garruk pretty aggressively. Definitely want to be doing now. Just gotta get in at Garruk. At least get 1 creature killed, which gives me Frost Nailing Swordmaster, Order of Midnight. And importantly, we're keeping Garruk off of Ultimate. I mean, we can't stand too many turns like this. With double Luck Clover, many things are possible. Our opponent's letting us draw cards aggressively, which is fantastic. So many good draws in our deck. Once Upon a Time, okay. Overgrown Tomb, all right, well. Play this one, and we're going to see if we can get a bonkers Once Upon a Time. Pretty good chance we're not going to die, so see what happens. Yeah, the kind of turn that I'm looking to construct here is one where I just Smitten Swordmaster multiple times and kill them at it. Means I'm going to probably be pretty conservative about blocking because I want to keep my night count high. I mean, they're obviously going to attack with these forests, so I will certainly be doing some blocking there. I want to keep Innkeeper in play, obviously. We're probably thinking about Blacklance Paragon as maybe a reason not to attack at the forests. They should just... I'm at 6. They should be attacking pretty aggressively here, I think, but we'll see what they do. They do attack with both forests. I'm going to double block one of them with Murderous Rider Midnight Reaper. Man, I wish I had Massacre Girl in my deck right now. That would be a pretty good card to have against Garruk especially. It seems really good. All right, interesting. So opponent holds back. That's reasonable, I think. They're like loath to let me draw extra cards off this Midnight Reaper. They shouldn't have counter spells in their deck. Interesting. Okay, so I could either take Foulmire Knight or Smitten Swordmaster. At the moment, I have 3 knights in place, so Smitten Swordmaster is a drain 9 draw card. I can also grab Foulmire Knight, which can cycle and draw me 3 cards for 3 mana. I think I take Swordmaster here. It's close. I would like to make sure I survive the next turn. Once Upon a Time is fantastic news. I think before I do that, I'm just going to Swordmaster and then see where this takes me. The opponent can gain... They're going to try Veil of Summer because they're not aware that Veil of Summer does not work on Smitten Swordmaster. Many people aren't. Not how the card works. That opens up exciting possibilities of perhaps Murderous Ridering them in their upkeep if we get that. Cool. This also taps them out of being able to gain... Okay, they can get 3 life off this clue. We don't just win immediately with another Swordmaster. So, I'm going to cast this draw card, see where that takes us first. It's an open question whether it's better to do that or whether it's better Once Upon a Time first, in case I hit another Edgewell best option, but get a little bit of stuff done. All right, so I'm going to hit... All right, another Smitten Swordmaster seems great. Just that. And they don't... Oh, do they die? Oh, I think with Order of Midnight they might die. Let's... Okay. I think they were able to live at 1... No, they take 12 off Swordmaster. They gain 3. They take 2 off of... They weren't even dead. They weren't even dead. Come on. All right, well, that's obviously unsatisfying because they weren't even dead, really. But that, I think, was a good demonstration of how the deck wins. They just sort of had a bunch of stuff going on, and they attacked and got us down to a pretty low life total, but the board was kind of annoying and they didn't want to deal with it, so they just didn't attack with those lands because you never know, and then we just killed them. It's possible that even keeping Force Word Master in the deck is like correct because so many of the games end that way. Just again, this matter of finding the balance between having those noxious grasps early and having like the kind of game-ending cards late. Yeah, if somebody figures out how to like actually sideboard optimally with this deck, it's gonna be really good. All right, that was really fun actually. Let's try one more match. Let's try one more match here. See what happens. I'm riding high at number 3. See if we can get to number 2. But yeah, that was a fun match. Garrick is one you don't get to see too often. I guess probably just like a one-of or something. And definitely a bit of a spooky card, but fortunately that player made the mistake that you should never ever make, which is never ever 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 tap out of Veil of Summer. If you're ahead, don't get greedy with your Hydroid Krasis. They didn't even draw an extra card. They just like tapped and played a 5/5 Krasis instead of a 4/4. I guess they had Nissa, so all their lands made weird mana colors or something. I don't know. Point is, never ever tap out a Veil of Summer. You're just inviting yourself to get, in that case, 4 for 1. I will say that even though the historically matchup against Oko decks has been quite favorable, I think if they just steadfastly, once they had that like good Planeswalker-driven position in the mid game, if they just steadfastly refuse to tap out, I think the games get a lot harder. So it'd be interesting. I think if I had to pick what to run into now, I'd like to run into one of this deck's bad matchups so I can demonstrate kind of the games where it struggles a little bit more. That would be Jeskai Fire's Red-Black Mayhem Devil as opposed to like the Knights deck, or Wilderness Reclamation. Especially because we have that sweet Reaper of Night sideboard tech. Lex. This hand is, yeah, totally fine. Midnight Reaper plus Black Lance Paragon plus Find is a great combination. They're going to have a hard time not blocking our stuff. We're going to draw lots of cards. So, what are we looking for? Nothing in particular. A great hand for Edgewood Keeper, Smitten Swordmaster. I think I'm going to bottom that for now. I think I'm interested in hitting land drops with these cards. I'm also interested in finding Edgewood Keeper because it's just a good card in the abstract, and Lucky Clover because we have Bruce Rider. And Smitten Swordmaster doesn't fit in any of my plans right now. It appears that we are not playing its Wilderness Reclamation or Jeskai Fires, more's the pity. But heck, if it's just Oko time, let's show off how we do against the Okos. We got Murderous Rider to cover turn 2 Oko here. Lucky Clover. Do I just play Lucky Clover now? Yeah, I'm pretty into it. I think in game 1 this is pretty safe. The risk is that they like Oko and make the Clover into a 3/3, but then I still just kill their Oko and I have a 3/3. Not the worst, especially with this Midnight Reaper. I have a feeling they're probably going to try to go for turn 3 Nissa here. So, ooh, Edgewalling Keeper. So the problem is I kind of want to play Edgewalling Keeper and then like Black Lance Paragon their Nissa. The problem is that that's like easy Wicked Wolf bait, which I don't love. I could play Midnight Reaper, actually. Why don't we just play Midnight Reaper here? It's like a good mid-ground play. It's fine against Nissa. It's fine against Wicked Wolf, because if they Wicked Wolf it and eat the food, I just get to double Rider their Wicked Wolf and their Paradise Druid. Like, thing I'm hoping there is that they like go for the turn 3 Nissa and then I just blow them out with Black Lance Paragon or just by Murderous Riding Nissa and the land. But like a little bit too easy for them to like be suspicious of that and just kind of sit there doing nothing. Huh. All right, well, if they're going to sit there doing nothing anyway, that's fine by me. Yeah, I'm just going to attack with Midnight Reaper. And I think just wait. Got Black Lance Paragon, Once Upon a Time, and Murderous Rider all available. I don't see a reason to rush out this Innkeeper yet when they could just have Wicked Wolf. I guess the odds are pretty good that the next turn play is going to be like Wicked Wolf anyway, and then they'll have 2 foods up so they can kind of guard the Wicked Wolf, but that's fine. I still draw a card. Black Lance Paragon, which means I gain 3 life off the wolf. There's a world where because Blacklands Paragon covers Nissa, I want to once try to hit a land drop. That's like definitely an option, but that probably would be better. It seems like they're playing around Murderous Rider. There's so many decisions in this deck. It's hard to play just like automatically. Okay, so Wicked Ball comes down. Gonna chew up Midnight Reaper. They're gonna eat a food. That's totally fine. I am going to. I think I'm into using Blacklands Paragon just to gain some life here. Important is the life. Maybe not that important. Okay, the life gain isn't actually that important. Let's just draw this card and see what happens first. I think playing Once Upon a Time for a land drop feels like a Swordmaster. Alright, so I definitely just want to be hitting lands Once Upon a Time. I could play Blacklands Paragon and get a Knight on the board for Swordmaster, but I really just want to hit. Okay. Okay, Failed Passage is land drop. It feels able to cast all the delicious. Opponent maybe playing main deck Veil of Summer? What's going on over there? Oh, they have 2 mana. Okay. So priorities right now. Feels like it might just be Innkeeper plus pass the turn. Opens me to another Good Wolf, is still fine against Nissa. You like double Murderous Rider or something. It is important to remember this could be a fine finale. So, I could play Overgrown Tomb this turn, which lets me save on some damage, and then just play Edgewell Innkeeper, hold up Blacklands Paragon. Weird position. I really don't want them to another Wicked Wolf. Wicked Wolf. Okay, it's decided. They have no pressure. We'll play this tapped. We'll play Edgewell Innkeeper. I'm tapping on a Murderous Rider, so maybe they'll just play Nissa and then attack recklessly into Blacklands Paragon. That would be great. Again, in the turn here, instead of playing Smitten Swordmaster, because a 2-1 doesn't really do anything on the board. I don't know. I'm in a state of like a bit of a funk where I have a bunch of options and I don't really know what to do. I have another Wicked Wolf. I'm going to be annoyed. Vraska, okay. Sure. What is Vraska going to do? Probably just kill Lucky Clover. Maybe kill the Innkeeper. The Innkeeper dies, sure. All right, that's fine. Annoying, but fine. Attack with Wicked Wolf here. Okay. So I think I'm going to go for the Flash Paragon into block play, because then I can Murderous Rider both the Wicked Wolf and the Vraska. I think if I try to attack Vraska with Blacklands Paragon, they're just going to bounce off Paradise Druid, which is pretty unsatisfying. Gains me some life too, which is nice, because it feels like this is going to be a long one. Or are they making food in response? Sure, okay. This is how they spend their turn here. Wicked Wolf hits me. Like, it's a big creature. It's now big enough to take out Finality, but I'm not really scared of it. To Castle Lockthwain at this point, Fabled Passage, just deck a little bit. Crack you. And it feels like the right play here is to go for double Murderous Rider, hit the Vraska plus the Paradise Druid, probably. It's definitely awkward. Like, I don't feel great about what's happening here. What are my other options? I have Find back Innkeeper plus like Midnight Reaper or something like that. Play Innkeeper, play Reaper, maybe do the Smitten Swordmaster thing. But Frost getting like sack foods and draw cards just doesn't feel like what I want. Let's do this. So Vraska. Killing, I think, Paradise Druid over Goose, just because Druid actually makes. I feel like I'm behind in this game, though. I feel like I'm necessarily at any kind. Then you'll just find. Wolf's already out of finality range, so it's not going to hit that much. Grab Keeper Plus. Might actually be Paragon, just because Paragon gains life, but draws cards. So I'm actually going to make it Paragon. That means my next turn's play is likely to be Innkeeper into Murderous Rider, hold up Paragon. I feel like they're going to play Nissa and hit me down to 10. Slightly insecure life total. No, okay, no Nissa. Maybe just a big Krasis? No Nissa is great news because we have lots of time. Oko Thief of Crowns, sure. Cool. All right, so they go for Lucky Clover, which is something people often do in that position, but the horse is a little bit out of the barn. Already kind of gotten Clover valued. Is a little sad with Word of Midnight, but I'm pretty happy about the plays I get to make here, which is definitely attacking Oko. Non-negotiable. And a nice low loyalty count. I wonder if they're really a Noxious Grass. This feels like it might be. Go down to 2. Play this land. Play Edgewalker. Murderous Rider, and then if they choose to kill the Innkeeper response, we can just sort of midnight it back because we're still pretty life total. Okay, drew Once Upon a Time, that's cool. So we can either Black Knight's Paragon or Once Upon a Time. I could also play Smitten Swordmaster to just draw a card off of it, which is not unreasonable, but with Oko making a 3/3 next exceptional either. I think I'd rather have Once Upon a Time. Once Upon a Time is on the Rider for Oko. It looks like the thing they have is probably not Noxious Grasp, but see what happens. They could also Oko Innkeeper, but at that point they're starting to get at the risk of just getting Oko attack down. Wolf killing one creature does not really concern. Having no Clover on the board is definitely a tight situation because it means your sense of inevitability suddenly disappears. Like we do actually need to be drawing cards to grind these games close. But they don't have a Nissa. They might have a Krasis. I'm having a hard time picturing what they've got. I guess they've been hitting all their land drops, so that's the thing. Oko's making food, which is interesting. The fact they're not going for board presence is cool. Okay, so it's just a Krasis? Alright, so it's a Krasis, cool. So that draws them some cards, which is annoying. The fact they've tapped out is really Did land too, so now we're just going to Once Upon a Time, and there are lots of really good here. Like Murderous Rider's an excellent hit. Probably the other cards that are great, but let's probably just hit Murderous Rider if I can. Okay, interesting. Graveyard contains Midnight Reapers. So my next turn is going to involve attacking Oko with Murderous Rider. I definitely want to. Need to find some like stuff, I think. Grab second Innkeeper. And here's to draw lots of cards. Swordmaster, cool. Okay. Be going well. Go Innkeeper. With only one knight in play, there's not much point in favor. I would rather just have mana be saved. Gonna play this. Decent chance I draw Murderous Rider here, so we're not gonna like do the attacking yet until we've killed something. On a time. Edgewell Innkeeper, okay. Alright. In that case, I'm pretty into just going Innkeeper. Bottom 2 Order of Midnight. So I don't want to be too easy with these. I think I just play the Swordmaster here. So hoping the opponent doesn't have a Wrath effect. The ground is pretty well covered at this point. Really just looking for lucky Clovers so I can close the game out. Oh, Incubation's great actually. So do you find a Murderous Rider off this? Valimar Knight, great. That's a 1-mana draw 3. And we'll see how many Edgewell Innkeepers live the turn, but even Massacre Roll. Really that scary. Still beat an okay life total after all said and done, and then their board will be clear. I don't even know if they run main deck Massacre Girl. If they Nissa, we're gonna block their land with some stuff. It's fine. And I don't even mind chumping the Wicked Wolf with Swordmaster because I actually want a Swordmaster in the graveyard so I can get a Curry Favor back later. So now I feel like I won't say we've turned the corner yet. It's like a little too early for that. We could hit some like awkward cards off these ones. Alright, so with 3 Innkeepers in play, it's going to be like 2 turns until we have access to our entire deck. And at that point, we can pretty much always find a way just to kill all our opponent's permanents. So 7 is a perfectly safe life total. Keep in mind that we can like attack with all these lifelink creatures if we want to. Gain a bunch of life and then play a bunch of Foul Knights and survive that way. Wicca will come down, probably eats an Innkeeper. Yep. Play for sure there from the opponent. Goku's gonna, okay, yeah. So opponent's playing really well here. They're doing the right thing in terms of keeping these down. Well, I think I might be able to kill Oko now. I haven't really lost track of that. So they got 4 blockers. I got 6 attackers. Got a 1/1, some 2/1s. So if they block the 4 biggest things, they only get 3 damage in it, Oko. That means kill both their geese. I feel like that's not worth it. I think I would much rather just once upon a time enter Murderous Rider and kill it that way. Actually, let's start out with draw a card and see. If I draw Lucky Clover, the turn changes completely. Forest, okay. Impressive. Let's graveyard. So I do have an Innkeeper in the graveyard. I probably should have brought back first, actually, if I were thinking ahead here. I got 1 timeout. I can order Midnight back Innkeeper, I can play Innkeeper, I can then play Order. Then I don't have much in the way of. They can also swap next turn. Alright, you know what? I'm being a bit silly. I think it's actually correct for me to get back Innkeeper, please. Still at no danger of dying because we have the Swordmaster. Get this thing back to my hand. And play it. I'll play the Order of Midnight. It would be super amazing to draw a card. Oh, I've already played land this turn. Never mind. Who we draw? Murderous Rider looks pretty good. Incubation also looks pretty good. Alright, so that actually lets me go with definitely Swordmastering this turn, just so we don't act stupid. Go to 12, and we're just going to Incubation looking for, I don't know, Dominate probably. Or we can just whiff. Alright. I guess we've got a lot of our creatures out of the deck by now. It's fine. Whiffing is fine. Now the question is, do I attack Oko with everything? I would gain a lot of life. I would lose a bunch of creatures. Oko wouldn't die. I could kill the geese for next turn, but let's just keep the board big. Keep this nice big board. These Wicked Wolves can't actually do anything if I never attack. So the question is, how do we close the game out? We can just build a giant swarm. Like we can play like 4 more creatures next time. Attack through them. Do some Swordmaster stuff maybe. But the big plan is probably just to keep drawing my deck and like play a couple Lucky Clovers and win somehow. Weird position. The fact that like I have a Clover that's an elk and an Innkeeper that's an elk is awkward for sure. Still in no real danger of dying. Best thing they could possibly do to pressure my life total would be to like play another Crisis this turn. And that doesn't really matter very much. Sure. Cool. What does Oko do? Probably pluses on an Innkeeper again? Oh, okay. Oko is starting to actually make creatures happen. Interesting. Right. So how do we start this off? So keep in mind we have a Murderous Rider that I can use to kill this Crisis if I want to. I'm going to start off by drawing 2 cards with Smith. That takes. Draw some cards. Cool, cool. Okay, Falmer Knight's pretty good, I think. I have 1 more Swordmaster, right? And it's not my graveyard. It's not my graveyard. So I have 1 more Swordmaster. So I think the goal is going to be to find that this turn if I can. Murderous Rider the Crisis. Yeah, let's go for that. So we're going to play the Overgrown Tomb. 2 life. Maybe a little awkward to do that because I could in theory draw an untapped swamp later, but actually it's probably awkward. I'm probably just sequencing badly here because I'm in a bit of a rush. Draw 2 cards. With these Once Upon a Times, I think I literally can like cycle through my entire deck here. Really draw all the swamps. Of course, of course. So if a Murderous Rider the Hydroid Krasis, I drop to 2. I can attack with all my lifelink stuff, go back to 8 and be pretty safe. Gonna Once Upon a Time first, just because Swordmaster changes the lot. Cool, I'll take that one. Cool, so now I just get to go Murderous Rider, kill this Krasis. Oko doesn't bother me. I get main deck Veil of Summer, that would be an awkward. Have it, cool. I'm gonna spin Swordmaster again. Opponent's life total is actually under a little bit of pressure here, so we are in a pretty safe space life total wise. Hold on, wait a minute. Opponent's got 5 blockers, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 attackers. So they can let through 1/1s, a 1/1. No, attacking does not work. Get me killed. Let's not do that. Let's attack with Order of Midnight. All casual like attack with Order of Midnight. Definitely a weird game. Like Graces takes me to 3. Not enough. I feel like I'm gonna scrounge together a victory here somehow. I just don't know how yet. I have some Order of Midnights that I could find like at least for midnight next turn, almost certain. And then my opponent probably is going to put a Swordmaster in the graveyard because it's really hard to avoid doing that. And then I will kill them that way. There are also really tricky plays where if they just really refuse to let Swordmasters die, I'm going to gain a bunch of life, and then I can use the life to Murderous Rider my own Swordmaster in the graveyard and get it back. Huh. Heck of a game, heck of a game. Man, this is game 1 too. Gee, where are the clocks at? Okay, so I've already used 10 minutes. My opponent has used 10 minutes. I should try to hasten this along a little bit. I think my opponent is in the stage of kind of like, I give up, I don't know what's going on. Probably correct for them to try an Elk and Edgewell Innkeeper here. I don't really know what's going on either. I'm just confident that I'll find something to do. So I bet their hand has like a bunch of spare Okos. Alright. Blocker makes sense. I don't know what's in their hand. Another Krasis. Alright, so this makes sense. When in doubt, just keep playing enormous flyers and maybe it'll work at some point. I happen to be pretty certain not going to work, but see? So opponent has mana to crack 1 clue. That's a Murderous Rider. Okay. I am going to start by playing this. And I've got 10 mana. So we really need to make sure we have at least, I think 5 mana open would be ideal, so I can play Lucky Clover plus Order, get back Swordmaster. My opponent has access to 7 blockers. I have 11 attackers. If I attack all out, they can kill a lot of my knights, which is a little sad. Let's start with I don't know I have Once Upon a Time. Did I just attack all out here? Might just be correct. I can Murderous Rider to kill a blocker, but that only gets 1 extra damage through. Right, now I'm going to placement in Swordmaster first because these Innkeepers might. Starting with this, see what happens. After this, I probably just attack with everybody. We drew Order of Midnight, which should seal things. Murderous Rider as well is not that helpful here, but whatever. The 4th Swordmaster has entered the building. And let's attack with everybody. Point, I think, correct to do. Opponent can at most go to 11. And if I'm gonna have enough life after this that I can just like Murderous Rider the things that are left over, so I should be pretty safe. I also have this Black Lance Paragon, which I can flash in to kill a Hydroid Krasis. They block the wrong way with Hydroid Krasis. Pretty good that I don't have a Midnight Reaper in play right now. That would make things a little trickier. Okay, so they're blocking Swordmasters with Geese. They really don't want to put Swordmasters in the graveyard. That's smart. They're like doing the right stuff here. Like for sure. Order Midnight is going to eat this Hydroid Krasis now, I think. They're taking how much? Counting, taking 4, 6 right now. They're going to go to 2. Yes, the game is over if they do that block. Okay, so now they're thinking about can they take knights off the board? This doesn't seem correct at all. Yeah, so I don't actually think I need to do fancy stuff here. I think I just go Paragon. This might be wrong. I think I just kill the Krasis with this Paragon here. Grand Order Midnight. They have a Brazen Borrower? No, they're about to crack a clue. They have noxious. Oh, they Noxious Grass the food. Okay, that makes sense. That is blocked, sure. A lot of stuff is about to die. And we'll sort things out after that happens. Yeah, so this board is like way too complicated for me to really even be able to reasonable amount of time, but my heuristics are just like wait until the point where you can kind of kill them with stuff. All right, so I'm at 13, have several blockers open. My play here is definitely just to Murderous Rider the and probably Murderous Rider the Oko. I just said definitely and then probably, sorry, that's probably confusing. Yeah, so we're going to Murderous Rider the Krasis. That's the biggest threat to our life total at the moment. Now dead. Also, they really need to come up with blockers here. And then I am just going to... So I could Murderous Rider the Oko. The odds they have another Oko in hand at this point are super high. But Oko can also swap this turn. Have how much? 9 mana available? So I could just play a Murderous Rider. Oko can do like a fancy swap thing, but then holding up in my Murderous Rider seems kind of good because it can be price damage. All right. I'll do this. I'm at 11. Extremely comfortable position. So do your worst, opponent. I also now have access to 8 creatures. Attacking an opponent who's at 4 life. Wicked Wolf is cool. Wicked Wolf is going to kind of provide a little bit of advantage here. We're down to 3 mana at this point. Wicked Wolf eats Murderous Rider, sure. Library, 22 cards in library here. Now a minute lower than me. This might matter a lot because, as I mentioned before, this is game 1. Oko makes another food, sure. So they can go to 7. But they are going to have to block a Swordmaster, and then they just die. This just doesn't work at all. Okay, yeah, this just doesn't work. So I could Murderous Rider, like tap one of the wolves, but I honestly don't think it even matters. Attack with everybody. I'm gonna end the game. Chomp. And this is the stage where the opponent's strategy is wondering, like, what went wrong? I did all the things I was supposed to do with my food deck, but they just didn't kill me, which it certainly helped, of course, that they did not draw a didn't have like an early Nissa there somewhere. Nissa could have been annoying. Did they have a Nissa? Did I kill a Nissa at some point? Oh, no Nissas. Sure. Okay, so having all the Swordmasters out impeded my ability to kill them. Oh, we just killed them anyway. Okay. I guess they were just dead on board. All right, no need to do Order of Midnight things, but we had that option if we need. Cool, game 2. Who's ready for game 2? Jesus. Okay. Be nice to like try the Massacre Girl thing. Could be cool. we don't need all 4 Midnight Reaper. It does get really awkward in those late game positions. It's like hard to block when you have it out. Opponent was very good about elking the Clovers, which is interesting. Don't want grasps. Probably want all 3, even if I'm doing Master Girl in part because like it makes him. Definitely do want to at least try Master Girl. Let's cut an incubation, cut a Swordmaster, cut 1 Reaper. Probably Reaper is good with Master Girl and bad with Master Girl. I think I'll cut the other incubation. You know what? Never mind. This card feels kind of awkward to sideboard, and I don't think. Let me cut Finder Order. I'll just cut. Cut the order. Definitely possible that Midnight Reaper should cut somewhere, but it's also true that like once in a while you get games where you just like play 2 Midnight Reaper out pretty early, make combat really awkward for them. And I might be overvaluing Midnight Reaper, and it's probably should go down to 3, maybe even 2 on the draw, frankly. It does kind of get eaten by Wicked Wolf a lot. This hand is pretty terrible. No card advantage at all is a mulligan. This hand is way better. We'll keep that. Throw out this Fabled Passage because it's just tap land. I don't need those right now. This hand looks great. So one thing to be aware of is they do have leech. So once upon a time it is another innkeep, not necessarily be the Stone Cold Nuts. Okay, cool. We just are just going to take the thing that's a creature, and I think I just cast Innkeeper here. There's like some argument for holding it in case they have like a Noxious Grasp or something like that. But if they do spend their turn 2 on that, kind of okay with that. Play it. It's going to be like a little bit of a run a mulligan. I think I want to try to be aggressively recoup card advantage. If we get Legions in. Oh, just Paradise Druid. Sure. All right, Midnight Reaper actually looking pretty good here. I like that one. Not gonna play Lucky Clover. Develop my board a little bit. Swordmaster. And offer the trade. I suspect highly they have a Wicked Wolf. I am super happy if they like decide to lose this Paradise Druid to kill Edgewell Innkeeper. That's great. They're probably happy because they did that, but now they're just like going to be down on mana. Excellent news. All we really want is for this to go low. I want to stop them from having. So in theory, you're not supposed to be able to like offer trades there necessarily because who knows what might do, but we'll often I think make mistakes by like throwing out Paradise. Now I'm just going to go with Midnight Reaper. Start gaining some life with the Swordmaster. They're not going to want to block. Reaper has Nissa handled. Reaper plus Swordmaster collectively have Vraska pretty well handled. Have options next turn to either do Lucky Clover and some stuff, or like cycle and cast Valmire Knight, which is good with Midnight Reaper out. Wicked Wolf does not look especially good here. Oko doesn't look especially good here. Nissa into Krasis could be somewhat dangerous here, of course. Wouldn't be my favorite thing, but not that many forests. Maybe they'll do the thing where they attack. No, okay. They held back. That's cool. That's smart for sure. I am going to attack Nissa here because we're going to have Valmire Knight to block a land, and I would like to keep her loyalty down a bit. Having a Blacklands program would be amazing here because we're masters. Well, and that would be super cool. Our opponent's playing pretty well. If they have a big Krasis, then this could be. Cycle this. All right, Incubation's kind of cool for a future. Yeah, might be disadvantaged here. Mulligan on the draw, slightly awkward hand there. Still pretty happy that I traded for that Paradise Druid. I think sight unseen is the right way to do things. I would rather they not have this Paradise Druid than me have like an extra card in hand from this Falmire Knight right now or whatever. It feels like it's big Krasis. But if all they have here is big Krasis, that gives me the chance to hit First Rider and kill their Nissa. Be cool. I don't think they played a land this turn. Alright, 5/5 Krasis, draw 2 cards, sure, whatever. Go 4/4 Krasis. That's pull up a little bit extra mana, maybe play a Forest, play an Oko. That'd be a rough combination. Okay. No, it's just nothing. Oh, they haven't used Nissa yet this turn. Oh, that's awkward. Now they have Elisummer up. Alright. Once upon a time. I think I'm in a position where I kind of have to hope they don't have Veil of Summer. Try to like murder Strider my way through them. Let's incubate. Hit. Okay, so I could take Murder Strider. Edgewell Incubator doesn't really do anything. Midnight Reaper's cute because I draw a lot of cards, but I also just throw away my whole board, and that doesn't. So I'm just gonna take Strider. And then I'm gonna try to murderously ride. Not Nissa, I'm just gonna kill this Krasis because attackers, they're gonna Veil of Summer me, and I'm gonna be really sad. Okay, so Veil of Summer still lets me kill Nissa here by attacking. Oh no, it doesn't because she's at 4 loyalty. Alright. In that case, we're almost certainly dead. I'm going to try holding, I think, for one more turn, because if I draw another Murderous Rider, I could maybe Clover Rider my way, but not looking great. Yeah, and sitting behind this Nissa, the opponent's in a pretty comfortable position. We're just like going to have a really hard time getting our engine set up. Yeah, there is a different path we could have taken this game. Don't attack with the Innkeeper. We have some like Death Touchers and stuff. Maybe we're just in like a really safe spot where I can kind of have 2 Innkeepers after this once upon a time, draw a bunch of cards and do that. But at the time, I hadn't seen it, did feel like the right play. Yeah, single Murderous Rider is not going to hit this turn. That second Grace is going to kill us real quick. Okay. So. Admittedly, Massacre Girl would have been kind of cool there. You had a lot of cards that wouldn't have liked. But it would have been cool. Okay, I think I'm going to try one like Miser's copy of Massacre Girl over the Find finality. I also like Order of Midnight quite a bit more when I'm on the play. I don't know what I would cut for it. I don't really have anything to cut for it. All right, I'll keep it at 3 of. Lucky Clover's a 4 of is always a little bit tricky, but it's just so good with Murder Strider. Even in a post-Veil of Summer world, because they just don't always have it. Still do tap out sometimes. Could have it, but to Lily's credit, they played well. They didn't let their shields down, as I mentioned. Matchup's a lot harder when they don't let their shields down. Let's just get a nice good hand here. I deem this acceptable. Got removal, it's got a Midnight Reaper. Not incredible, but Temple of Malady is really helpful because it means I don't have to land next turn if there's one on top. If I find like a Magic Innkeeper on top of my library, it's the best hand ever. So let's see if we can have a nice end of the night here. Lucky Clover. Yeah, I'm into that. And on the play. We'll like Cycle Falmire down turn 3. Pretty good, because we can have like Noxious Grasp up to cover various things. Like conservatively. Yeah, I'm in for like trying to find a bunch of if I can. Clover go. And on the draw, it's way harder for them to just like aggressively Oko a Clover. Paradise Druid comes in, sure. Play a Forest. And so I could play Midnight Reaper or Foulmire Knight. Midnight Reaper covers Vraska a bit better, maybe? Foulmire Knight cycling lets me hold up Noxious Grasp. I don't want to grasp their Vraska if they kill my Clover. Alright, let's Reaper for now, I think. It's better. Covers Oko better. Second Paradise Druid is their best play is amazing news. Love to see that. Second Foulmire Knight also looking pretty great, so I'm actually going to play the Forest first just to make sure I can cast the Foulmire after I cycle it. I'm not going to attack with Midnight Reaper at this point. They seem to have a good amount of mana there, and with these Foulmire Knights, nice to be able to have these not just get eaten for free by Wicked Wolves and stuff like that. Cards, cool. These are good cards. With Order of Midnight, I'm actually now much more attack with Midnight, because I actually actively want to get stuff in the graveyard. So changed my mind suddenly, but this Order of Midnight's pretty important. Because Wicked Wolf still does need Foulmire Knight for free, because Foulmire Knight has touch. Great. Okay, now if they have Wicked Wolf, Foulmire Knight. Get back all our stuff with Order of Midnight. Alright, it's just lots of mana dorks. That's cool. Looking pretty good. Murderous Rider is really nice to have access to. They probably have Veil of Summer, but they're going to go for a big Krasis. So at this point, just keep cycling these Foulmire Knights. Not be doing. Keep building up my hand. Building up the board. Building up my option. Looking for Edgewell Innkeepers, maybe? No such luck. Okay. Play Foulmire Knight. And I think I will Smitten Swordmaster. There's just like plenty of things to do with my mana here. Just going to get a little bit of nice chip in. Life. And yeah, I'll just stack with Foulmire. No real reason not to. At most creatures, they're going to want to be attacking me. One, if they have an Issa thing, they don't want to be trading off these Paradise Druids, and little bits of chip damage do matter. You want to play a 6/6 Krasis here? You want to like draw a bunch of cards and stuff? Wow. Well, this attack is incredibly suspicious. Maybe they have like fun. But I'm curious. Let's see what it is. Maybe it's a rat. Well, I'm puzzled. Maybe they just have nothing to do. Maybe they're up very poorly. But I am pretty interested in order. So I'm going to be doing Order of Midnight, get back Foulmire Reaper. Cycle Foulmire, cast Foulmire is my. So attacking with Foulmire is pretty harmless, but I also don't necessarily have to attack. Yeah, I can just kind of wait. So ready to go left to right. We're going to grab Foulmire, grab Reaper. I could also play Reaper this turn. That's another option I could go for. I could also go Swordmaster plus Order of Midnight and just like put decent creatures on the board since our opponent's really not doing anything. It's nice to have these in reserve in case I find Edgewell Innkeeper later. I am at 7 cards in hand, which is like Foulmire Knight, I go to 8. I'd be discarding to hand size, but that doesn't matter too much. You know what? Change of plans. Let's just play the dorky creatures. If they have a Wicked Wolf to eat something, it doesn't actually matter very much. And this makes Midnight Reaper much more compelling. I can just start to make attacks, and if I'm losing creatures, if I'm drawing cards at this point, it doesn't matter. All I really want at this point is to find Edgewell Innkeeper. Or I guess maybe more Murderous Riders? I don't know. They just aren't doing anything right now. Kind of have all their stuff covered pretty well. And we even have the wombo combo of Noxious Grasp and Murderous Rider in response to the Veil of Summer they cast. Pretty good. Can do. I expect to see some combination of like Wicked Wolf and this turn. But Our hand has 7 cards in it. There are 7 cards in this hand, one of which is 2 Heroes Downfalls. Another of which is Muldrifter. They're going pretty well at this point. Okay, and it looks like this might kind of be a non-game because our opponent's... But I'll play it out and kind of comment on my decisions as I make them. We're fetching here because we do want to thin at this point. Trying to hold as much black mana as possible because it makes it more flexible with most of the cards we'll be drawing. We don't care about a Wrath because we have Midnight Reaper, and also because we just have a bunch of card draw. When it really does seem like they're just stalling, I think they just have drawn 50 billion lands. Although they didn't, I just don't know what hand they kept. They didn't even have a Once Upon a Time in their opener, I don't think. I guess they did. No, it's too hard. And at this point, I'm just gonna wait. I can cycle Foulmire Knight or Once Upon a Time, depending on what they have. It's completely possible that I should just be like putting on more pressure now, but seem like it matters too much either way. I'm happy to just keep options open. Yeah, that's one thing I like about this deck. I used to play a lot of Mass Manipulation in Standard. As you, I guess, will see in my other videos. You know, if you look at the other videos on my channel, you'll see me playing some Mass Manipulation. And I definitely like about this deck that we don't really have the all mana dork draw that the Mass Manipulation decks sometimes wound up with. That part was never fun. All mana dork draw. I wonder if they even have Veil of Summer at this point. It feels like you would have cycled it at some point here. Early? Maybe not? I don't know. We might find out next turn if we do the Noxious Grasp into better plan. I don't think they should be attacking. Yeah, let me cycle Foundry next before I choose whether I want to block or not. Almost certainly going to block. Okay. Second Lucky Clover. Cool. Cool. Yeah, I'll just block. Doesn't really matter too much. Just like keep the board clear. It's clear this way. Things getting a little overstuffed, but figure something out. Or Edgewell Keeper. Alright, so the plan is Noxious Grasp, Nissa, and then Ghost Rider responds to the Veil of Summer. They have 2 Veils of Summer. I get sort of blown out, so what happens? They have 0 Veil of Summer? They have 0 Veil of Summer. Wow. I am curious what hand they kept. I guess I didn't see what they mulligan. Alright, well, I'm just going to play another Lucky Clover. Attack. Probably draw 3 cards with this Foulmire Knight because this one's looking for Swordmasters to end game. My opponent is no longer capable of winning. There's just no combination of cards they have that breaks up sufficiently. And well, there's Massacre Girl. Didn't turn out to need you this game. Still don't know if you're good or not. We'll find out in the future. Boy, what a match, though. That first game was something. Yeah, it's always awkward. Like we had enough material, just enough like raw cards. This would have been kind of like an interesting back and forth if they had a standard hand. Just flooded out. Rough. Oh, here's Edgewell Keeper. Better late than never, and we're just gonna kill. Father with the Soko. We could have double Murderous Ridered first, like make us not be able to block or whatever, but oh my god. Oh, that makes a little more sense. They had a Noxious Grasp in the entire time. We never played an Edgewell Keeper. I'm sorry, opponent. Noxious Grasp is not a good card against this deck. You should not play it. Playing Edgewell Keeper just not that advantageous. It's just not that good. So we have plenty of knights to just win the game here. Opponent can't actually gain life. Well, they can. They can go up to 14. Foods. Well, I guess I'll pay them the respect of at least killing stuff for a second here. 2. Okay, and so the plan for the rest of the turn is going to be curry favor and then cast the Swordmaster. The reason that we would be casting the Swordmaster here is just in case they have like a Wrath or something like that. It just simple enough to be able to order Midnight back to the graveyard and kill from there. Wow, they actually had it. That's funny. A little late, although there was no turn in this game when Master Control would have been especially effective. There was actually no turn in this. Order Midnight, get back, Swordmaster. Oh, I forgot there was another Swordmaster in the graveyard. We could have won last turn. Sorry, it's late over here. It's a long match. I apologize for not winning as fast as I could have been. But hey, that was at least pretty clean 4-0 with this deck. Very good, and I highly encourage you to try it. Again, check out the Reddit post that I wrote, which will be linked in the description. I've also linked the deck list, so you can just kind of pick this up and export an arena yourself. And happy clovering! All right, have a good night. Or day, or whatever time of day it is for you. Ta-ta.